Today we're going to start measuring with a ruler, which is review for you because I know you guys did this in second grade. I don't know if you need a ruler for the book work, but you are going to need a ruler eventually. You can print one off online that is exactly the size you need. It's a PDF. So if you don't have one, try and print one offline or make your best guess. That's what we're going to have to do. So today's essential question is, how can you generate measurement data and show the data on a line plot? So for this, we're gonna measure a bunch of stuff, collect all the measurements that we did, and then graph it, okay? So you have learned to I'm gonna do this.
Connect. You have learned how to measure length to the nearest inch. Sometimes the length of an object is not a whole unit. For example, a paperclip is more than 1 inch, but less than 2 inches. You can measure length to the nearest half-inch or 1/4 inch. The half-inch markings on a ruler divide each inch into 2 equal parts. The 1/4 inch markings divide each inch into 4 equal parts.
All right, guys, so whatever ruler you have, I want you to take a second and look at it. When you're looking at mine, it actually does start at the edge of the ruler, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes, if you look at the 12-inch, you have a little gap, and you have to start measuring from that line. But on this one, you don't have to, okay? So my ruler has a ton of lines on it, doesn't it? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There are 16 lines in between the nothing and the 1. Now that's because my ruler is cut up into 16 pieces. So each one of these little lines is 1/16. When you get to the line that's a little bit longer, that's 1/8. And this one that's even longer is 1/4. When you get right in the middle, you get to 1/2. It's very important for you to know how to use a ruler, okay? You have to know what the markings mean, and you have to know how to measure from the end to the nearest inch. We're going to practice that today, and I'm going to put a practice up for you on Facebook if you want to try out a game. All right, so let's get back. All right, so we're doing the bottom here. Unlock the problem. Use a ruler to measure the glue stick to the nearest half-inch. So it's important for us to circle what it wants us to measure to. So here, it wants us to measure to a 1/2 inch. Now a 1/2 inch is this line in the middle. Okay, 1/2 inch, 2 1/2 inches, 3 1/2 inches, 4 1/2 inches, and so on and so forth. So let's take our pencil and just draw a line down. Now, the nearest 1/2 inches are here and here. It wants us to go to the nearest 1/2 inch. Which one is closer? This one or that one? This one's going to be closer, right? This is 2.5 inches. That one is much farther away. So when you do this, you line up the left end of your glue stick with the 0 marker. And then the right end of the glue stick is between the 2 and the 2.5 inch marks. The mark that is closest to the right of the glue stick is the 2.5 inch. So the length of the glue stick to the nearest 1/2 inch is going to be, we already know the answer to this, 2.5 inches. All right, so now we're going to practice this on a paper clip. Same thing. Let's read the directions to make sure we know what kind of measurement it wants. Use a ruler to measure the paper clip to the nearest 1/4 inch or 1/4 of an inch. And those are all the lines, okay? It's not just this long one. That's a 1/2. This one's a 1/4. That one's a 1/4. That one's a 1/4. So let's take our pencil and mark. All right, that's where it is on the ruler. And the 2/4 it's between is this one and that one. So this is 1 1/2. And this one is 1 1 2 3/4. So just like we did with the glue stick, line up the left end of the paper clip with the 0 mark on the ruler, and the right end of the paper clip is between the 1/4 inch marks for 1 1/2 and 1 3/4. The mark that is closest to the right end of the paper clip is which one? Which one's like just a hair away? This one right here is just a hair away. That's 1 3/4. So the length of the paper clip to the nearest 1/4 inch is 1 3/4. Okay? This is going to take some practice at home, so I want you to go around and measure random objects and then ask mom if you got the right measurement. All right, so the next thing we got to do is make a line plot. Now, what the heck is a line plot? We've never made one of those before. A line plot is where we do a number line and then we put X's on where each part of our data goes, okay? So measure the length of 10 crayons to the nearest 1/2 inch. Complete the line plot and draw an X for each length. So you're gonna have to grab your own crayons for this, okay? Okay, so I just went and I measured 10 crayons, okay? And it's the same thing when you're measuring. Make sure you start right where it says 0. Not necessarily flush with the end, but where your 0 is. Okay, so these are the measurements I got. 2 1/2, 3, 2, 3, 2 1/2, 3, 1 1/2, 2 1/2, 4, and 3. And the reason why I'm doing 1/2 inches is because it says right here, measure to the nearest 1/2 inch, okay? So now I have to put an X for each one of these on my line plot. So I'm gonna change color so I can X out my numbers as I go. So my first one is 2 1/2. That's there, so I'm gonna put an X there. Then I have 3 1/2. Hey, look, there's already an X there. And then I have 3. Then I have 1 1/2. Then I have 2. Then I have 2 1/2. And I have 3 again. 1 4. Another 2 1/2. And another 3. All right, do we see any patterns in this line graph right now when we're looking at it? Yeah, I'm noticing that I don't have very many tiny crayons and I don't have very many full crayons. So the pattern I can see is that my crayons are mostly 2 1/2 or 3 inches. You might have a different pattern depending on how long your crayons are or if you have a brand new box, right? If you have a brand new box, you're probably all going to have 4-inch. All right, so you're doing the same thing here for try this. You're going to measure each one of your fingers, okay? From top until, what's it say? It doesn't say. So you're going to measure it to see how long it is. I have one finger that's 3. I have another finger that's 3 1/4. I have another finger that's 3, and I have another finger that's 2 1/4. You are going to measure all your fingers on both hands. You never know, maybe this hand isn't the same as this hand. And then you're going to put them on a line plot there. You're going to do the same thing with the key, just measure it, make sure Make sure you know how long it is and you're measuring it to the the nearest half. All right, guys, good luck with your measuring.